going to do my best to answer all of your questions regarding the new Amazing Talker Classroom. I want to start by pointing out that it is slightly misleading for them to call this the Amazing Talker Classroom. They kind of advertised it like it was something that they invented, that they like worked really hard to program. But that's not what they have done. All they have done really is they switched from Zoom to a company called Hilink. So the classroom that you're using is a product of Hilink. And this is important to know for a few reasons. Number one, if there is something about the new classroom that you don't like, and you want to like leave feedback like, hey, I would like to see this feature, and you use the Amazing Talker feedback to do that, you're wasting your time. Absolutely wasting your time, because there is nothing they can do about it. They are not in control of what features this product has. Number two, if you are having trouble with the product, if you're having trouble with the classroom, you have technical issues, you're confused about something, and you want help, the IT people at Amazing Talker are probably not going to be very helpful. Instead, your better option would be to go to Hilink's actual website. Maybe they have a troubleshooting section and an FAQ. I don't mind that they wanted to switch from Zoom to Hilink. I don't care. However, I do think they should be more transparent about that, because they kind of advertised it in a different way. But that's a whole nother subject. So because I only have 25 minutes in the test classroom, I'm going to answer as many questions as I can before we go into the classroom. So let's go over to the Facebook group real quick and just look at some of these. Will we be able to customize our backgrounds? No, unfortunately. The backgrounds that are preloaded, there's like, what, 8 of them, I think, or 6, something like that. Those are the only options at the moment. If you don't like that, again, don't bother Amazing Talker with it. They can't do anything about it. You could send a message to the company Hilink, and you could suggest, hey, I would like to be able to upload my own background. I would like a beauty filter, because that's one thing that Zoom has that I appreciate when I wake up for class at 3 o'clock in the morning, you know? But that's not something that Amazing Talker can control. That is a Hilink thing. So at the moment, no. Will they change it? Possibly. There is a workaround. If you use something like what I'm using something called Minicam. There's a bunch of different options. I can put a background behind me if I want to. I do like Minicam because I can do this. Which brings up another point. Someone mentioned mirroring and how to fix the mirror image. That is another thing you cannot fix, but the good news is it is only mirrored to you. So when I have this up, this banner up, and I log into the classroom, it shows all of those words backwards. And I panicked at first because I was like, now I can't use any of my banners, anything that has words on it. It's going to be mirrored. There's no option to turn it off, but it's only mirrored to you. What the student sees is normal. They see the regular image. It's not flipped for them. They will see your words. If you've got words on your t-shirt, they will see them. It's not flipped for the student. I don't know why they chose to make it flipped for the teacher. Like, you see yourself flipped, but they don't see you flipped. I'm not sure why they made that choice. Maybe it's because of like left-handed, right-handed, but there is no way to turn it off at the moment. But don't worry about it too much, because what the student sees is not mirrored. Okay, so we're seeing an infinite loop here because of me using the software. Ignore that. This is the only way that I can record it and you guys still be able to see it. So let's talk about sharing your lessons. Say that your lesson is a book that you want to read with your student and you've got it saved in your Google Drive. Okay, there are 3 different ways that you can share that book with your student. The first thing you can do is you can share your screen. So I'm going to go here as the teacher and I'm going to share, I got this one open. When I'm sharing the screen, I can no longer see the student. There's a fix for that. I can click this button here and jump back to the classroom. The student's on the bottom here. I can click pop out video. Now the student's down here. Now I can go back to my Google Docs. Now I can see the student down here in the corner, right? I can make this bigger if I want to. If they're trying to show me something specific, I can make it bigger. And I can move through the slides this way. But if you want to see what the student is doing, or if you want to talk about something specifically, you're going to have to click this tab to go back. So here we can now talk about everything. The student can write on things if they want to, or I can turn it off if I don't want them to scribble. and we can talk about this slide, but I cannot go to the next slide from this page if I am sharing my screen. I have to switch back to this one, go to the next slide, and then go back to the classroom. The student won't see any of that. Okay, they're only going to see what you're showing here. So it's going to look seamless to them. It'll be choppy for us. It's a little bit annoying, but this is one way to do it. There are other ways that you can do this. The other option, and this does work also with Google Slides, if the Google slide does not have any animations, nothing that's like layered on top of each other, then you can download it as a PDF and then upload it as a file. That's the second option. Okay, so if you've got lots of PDFs, you can upload it as a file. But if you don't want to do that, and instead you maybe have all your PDFs saved to your Google Drive, you can share it as a web link. And this is what I would recommend everybody do. If you want to do pretty much anything, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be better to share a web link than it's going to be to share your screen. Because sharing your screen, you can only work when you're on the tab that you're showing, and you'll have to constantly jump back and forth between the two. It kind of throws off the flow of the lesson a little bit. If you share the web link instead, you can actually interact with it right here on the screen. Let me just show you. So if I want to do games to learn English, I have this specific one that I want them to do, right? I copy this link. Now what I do recommend you do is when you set up your classes for the day, I recommend getting like maybe an Excel sheet or a Google Doc and put a list of all of the links that you're going to need for the day right there so that you can easily copy and paste it and you're not having to search for it and then paste it. But I'm going to paste this game and there it is. And I can click start and it's going to add it here and I can make it bigger. And here's the best part about this. Now, unlike when I share, if I'm sharing, I can only move things around if I am actually on the tab. But look, now I can scroll and I can click the buttons and I don't have to switch back and forth. And look, the student can click buttons. The student can actually participate in the game. Okay, now here's the problem with this. Here's the downfall. What the student clicks on, you cannot see, right? If I go back to the teacher tab, I cannot tell that they click the start button. Okay, so that's a bit of a problem. The way that you can kind of counteract that is if you want to see what the student is doing, you can give the student permission to share, to present, and then you will be able to see what they're doing. Okay, if you have a student who doesn't follow directions, then the better option would be for you to share your screen and then talk with the student and ask them, okay, which one is it? Have them answer verbally, tell you the answer verbally rather than clicking if they are not very good at following directions. So there is still a place for sharing. Sharing does have a place, especially with your more mischievous students, but you will not be able to see what they are clicking on. You also cannot control what they are clicking on. So if they decide that they don't even like this game, you cannot stop them from picking a different game. Now they went to anagrams, but I'm still over here on Monster Vocab. So there is a pro and a con to using it this way. Something like a PowerPoint or a Genially or a word wall, this would work probably a little bit better than something like this where everything's a little bit more randomized. If you want to add a YouTube link, that's a little bit different. First, let me go ahead and close this out. And a side note here, one thing that happened to me a couple of times while I was, experimenting and trying to figure out all the features is I would get lost. There are so many things open and I would upload something. For example, I was testing out the file upload. I uploaded a book and then I couldn't find it. If that happens to you, it's probably because you are in a different view, right? If you are in gallery view, you're not going to be able to see whatever you upload. So instead, if you find that you've uploaded something and you've uploaded it again and again, I literally uploaded the same book 3 times before I realized that it was in the whiteboard the entire time. So just click on view, change your view, and see if you can find it that way. You might find that you have multiple tabs open here because you just kept uploading it. So if you're ever missing something, try changing your view. Now, adding a YouTube link. If you want to add a YouTube link, do not do it as a web link. Instead, add it as a YouTube. This will prevent them from going off onto YouTube and just watching whatever they want to. Type it in this way. That way they're stuck on this specific video. This is going to, once again, embed it into your classroom. There are some pros and cons. The ultimate pro is that this gets rid of the lag problem. I don't know if any of you have ever been on the receiving end of a Zoom call, but if you are the host, to you, it is seamless. It looks like everything is nice and clean. The video moves cleanly. The audio matches with their mouths. It's very clean. But if you were on the receiving end, it doesn't look like that. That is not Zoom's fault. It is because of how it does screen sharing. It's kind of like if you are talking on the phone and you hear an echo, like you hear your own voice back to you. The reason why that happens is because it takes time for sound to travel. So they are watching your screen. So not only is the video choppy, like it doesn't move seamlessly, like so what they hear and what they see may not match at all. But even if they have really good internet and you have really good internet and everything is very high speed, no matter what, the sound is never going to match the video because it's just not possible. It's not a very good user experience. So if you are one of the teachers that like to use videos, the good thing about the new classroom is when you add a YouTube link, the student gets to see it in real time. It completely eliminates that problem. So that's a good thing. However, you cannot stop the child from watching the video. Now, if you, let's say that I play this video, right? It will automatically play for the student as well. And if I pause it, it will also pause it for the student. If you have a well-behaved student, then this is perfect. Then you can pause it wherever you want. You can talk about what you need to talk about and then move on. But if you have a naughty student, they can continue. If they don't want to be patient and they don't want to talk about it, they can push play. I don't know why. I don't feel like that should be a feature. I feel like you should be able to turn that off, but you cannot. The good thing is, if they do that and they continue playing the video, you should be able to hear it. There should be an echo of the sound playing back to you. So you should be able to tell if they're not listening. If you can see here, I still have the trees, whereas they have moved on to the clouds. If I push play, it rewinds. If you push play as the teacher, after they have continued watching it, it will rewind their video back to where you were at. If they continue to do it and they continue to be naughty with it, you can just hit the X button and say, okay, we're not going to watch the video unless you can behave, right? Hands in your lap, hands on your body. Don't touch the computer. You know, there's different disciplinary things that you can do. We can talk about disciplinary strategies in a different video if you want. Everything else, I feel like most of these buttons are pretty self-explanatory, right? The quiz, the poll, those are all things that you can use. The last thing that I want to talk about is Nearpod. This is really cool. Nearpod is a free game lesson builder, kind of like Genially and WordWall. It is free. They do have a premium version. You can make your own lessons, but they do also have a lot of their own lessons. Let me make this bigger, first of all. It's so tiny. Okay, so I just have this one here. When you pick a lesson, or if you decide to make a lesson, you want to do a live participation. We're going to start a new session. Now, it's going to give you this code, and it's going to tell you that you can copy it or you can type it into this bar at the bottom. I don't know if you can see where it says, this box right here is kind of in the way. Maybe I should kind of drag it up a little. Yeah. Okay, hang on. Let me shrink it so you can see it better. There. It says, please enter Nearpod code. Do not click the copy button. I don't know if it's just the test classroom. Hopefully they fix it, But if you click the copy link button, it will glitch out your keyboard, and then you cannot use the chat box and you cannot type the code. You have to exit, start over. So instead, just type it and then click send to student. On the student side, what they are going to see, oh dear. I see they're on gallery, so I need to go to sidebar. Yeah, see, there we go. That's another thing that if your student gets stuck, because just now I sent this lesson, I couldn't see it because I was in gallery. So you can instruct to your student to change the view. If you need to maybe take pictures of it at the bottom of your screen, show up, be like, hey, click this button, change it so that they can see it. But then they're just gonna type their name in. I'm gonna put test student so that you can see. They don't have to log in. They don't need to have an account or anything like that. The only person who needs the account is you, the teacher. You just send out the code. Then they're going to click join lesson. And on their side, they're going to see this screen. You have to finish setting it up. The student is waiting for you, right? The student can't see anything. You can click whatever setting you want. So we can do sports or jungle. Try jungle. I usually turn on randomized answers. This one I think is important. You don't have to do this, but this option here will pause between each of the questions. The student cannot continue until you say so. So if you want to talk about like why an answer is the way that it is, you can talk about it and they can't do anything until you say so. Okay, so now me, the teacher, now I'm waiting for them to pick their character. So they can, oh, there's a bunch of them. We can pick this fox. How about that? We're going to click join game. The student is going to see this cute little animation. They have a countdown here and they've got questions that they need to answer. So let's go ahead and click the correct answer this time. And they'll get like a cute little animation here. They'll run up the hill, right? But then the game pauses. Over here on the teacher side, what I see is a result of their test. I can see they got one answer correct, right? They cannot move on until I hit next question. I can see the question here. I can see what the answer is. When I hit next question, this bar is going to load. On the student side, what they see is the game is still paused, and then we'll get another countdown. And it'll move on. And they are able to click inside. So Nearpod is an excellent resource. It is free. I do recommend everybody make an account with them. They have plenty of pre-made lessons that you can use, and you can also make your own, and it's free. Okay, one last thing. I am running out of time. It's going to kick me out. Let me quickly go over the controls. If you give a student permission, like if you want them to share their screen with you, right? You can do that by clicking invite to present. They will have to accept it. But then when you are done and you no longer want them to present, but they maybe won't listen to you and like they're still sharing their screen, because they can still control from you. If you're sharing something and your student has permission to share, they can start sharing something and they can steal that attention away from you. So if you want to turn it off, you need to click people down here. This will bring up, this should have your name as the teacher, and then this will have your student's name, right? You're going to hit remove presenter. That is how you take that off to make them stop. I think I covered everything. If you still have questions about something or you're confused about something, please leave a comment, let me know, and I will make a follow-up video if I need to, or if I can, I'll answer it directly in the comments. It just takes some getting used to. There is a bit of a learning curve, but I do think in a lot of ways it is better than Zoom, but it is just going to take some getting used to. So we're all going to be kind of fumbling a little bit. I definitely recommend practicing in the test classroom. Really get familiar with it and don't let yourself get embarrassed in front of your student when you don't know how to do something. You know what I mean? So if you have any more questions, please let me know and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Bye.